pretty. It's a very happy situation. Here's Sean Payton on how he's feeling about his second-year quarterback, Bo Nix.
I appreciate not being in that quarterback market, and when you don't have it right, you know, it's one of those positions where it can kind of consume you as an organization. The interior triangle of your passing game, the tight end, the running back, the third receiver, and it's hard to play that position if you're not able to attack the interior triangle of some of the looks we're getting defensively. This, I think, helps both.
Tim, Bo Nix surprised some people last season in his rookie year. What are your expectations for year two?
I think he's going to continue to grow, play well, and be on an upward trajectory. And I thought Sean Payton, you can obviously just hear it in his voice in terms of the stuff he talks about regarding passing game and development of a quarterback. I think it's a great combination, the two of them. Bo Nix has got a ton of physical ability. I think he did a better job than many people would have thought in terms of digesting what Sean Payton wanted to do. And then I think Payton did a good job of kind of tailoring the offense to him a year ago, and I think he'll continue to grow with it. So I would expect Bo Nix to continue to play at a high level. Thought he was a more accurate passer than I was anticipating him being in year one.
Yeah, it also, he's a poster child for maybe more time in college translating well to the NFL, that experience.
Well, also going to a great coach in Sean Payton. Yeah, I still find it funny, you know, talking about Bo Nix surprised people. It was only a surprise if you weren't paying attention. You know? I mean, it's like, oh my God, I'm surprised. It's raining outside. And it's like, well, just look out the window and you can see that it's raining. Like, just use your eyes. So I the fact that we still talk about Bo Nix through this lens of him being a surprise. Like, Brock Purdy was a surprise, right? Last pick in the draft, etc., etc. Dak Prescott, surprise. What was he, 4th round, whatever it was. Jalen Hurts even, 2nd round draft pick, etc. You know, those are surprises. You know, understandably so. Tom Brady was a surprise. Bo Nix did exactly what you would expect him to be able to do with the Denver Broncos. And the situation that he was given. And the quality of play that he has. So what are the expectations for Bo Nix this season? This coming season? For him to continue to grow, evolve, and take his game to the next level. Like, they're going to build the offense now. Because there was no, the offense was tailored around him. Because it needs to be, he's a quarterback, but it wasn't necessarily built around him. Now Sean Payton actually really understands who Bo Nix is. And Bo Nix is starting to understand who he is himself as a player in the NFL. And this is still a process, of course. But when you talked about, when Sean Payton was talking about what he needs, running back, tight end, third wide receiver, you like there's a plan, there's an intention here. There's an understanding of what you want to be able to attack offensively when you're getting faced specifically defensively, because the Broncos are going to face, they're going to continue to face high level defenses. It's the one bad thing for them in this division is that they have a great defense, but so do the Chargers, so do the Chiefs, and so either do the Raiders today or at least tomorrow they will with Pete Carroll. So like, you're going up against tough defenses in your division, so you're going to be going up against high level defenses. Which is why I think the acceleration of Bo Nix, I think there's a real possibility that a Bo Nix can really accelerate in terms of how great he is. And at the very least, we will find out truly who he is way sooner. Because there's nowhere to hide. Dak Prescott can hide beating up on the Commanders and the Giants and then like the Eagles when they're trying to figure out, like, is Carson Wentz gone? We need another quarterback, whatever it is. Like, you can hide in some of those. Even like a CJ Stroud can hide. You're going up against the Titans, the Jags, just a mess. I mean, listen, I think Baker Mayfield's a lot better. He's better than I, would originally give him credit for, but like, again, he's in a division going up against like quarterbackless teams essentially in the division that he's in now. It's like, and that's what you see with the Browns. In that division, there's nowhere to hide because you're talking about Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and the same thing with the Steelers. Nowhere to hide. You either got the quarterback or you don't. You either are keeping up or you're not. And it's very obvious you're not. But then you look at this division with the Chargers, the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, you're just like, there's nowhere to hide in that regard. So when you see Bo Nix go head-to-head against Justin Herbert, against Patrick Mahomes, and you see him succeed or at least hold his own in this moment of time, like, that means something. I mean, you're going up against high-level defense. You're going up against Spags' defenses. That means something. And it's beyond just, it's a divisional game. It's going to be close, et cetera, et cetera. Like, no, you're talking about a young quarterback really hold his own. When it would be totally acceptable to have him be rocked and embarrassed and have one of his worst games. That would be acceptable, totally, and totally understandable. If anything, even going into that game, you would be ready as a coach to be like, hey, man, this could be a little rough. This is a division rival. You're going to get the best. You're essentially facing like the best defense you can with a defense that knows us and wants to, crush us. Like, this is not an easy game. You're a rookie. This is your like sixth start. And then to have said quarterback completely be unfazed, like that really means something. That really means something. So I just think considering what Bo Nix had to go up against this last season with the team that he had around him, I think we can expect Bo Nix to continue to evolve, continue to grow, and actually now really surprise people by how great of a quarterback he can be. The confidence and poise that I felt that he had last season was just so impressive, especially because it's not like everything was going so great throughout this season. It definitely was a little bit more like kind of up and down. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels, like he caught fire. He had so much momentum behind him. You can make the argument it's a lot easier to be poised. And again, I think Jaden Daniels is special, and I think he showed a tremendous amount of poise. But like, it's easier to be poised when things are going pretty well for you and you're balling. But when you have some rocky games and you're playing poorly or this or that, or you have some tough losses, like being able to rise above that and really keep your poise, I think is really impressive. Even a game against the Bills when they lost in the playoffs, like Bo Nix never tried to play beyond himself. And I think he played awesome in that game, actually. And so again, that means a lot to me. To be able to show the composure in that moment when first it's a close game, and then at one point you're essentially getting rocked, and it's like feels like there's just zero chance of you coming back and winning this game. To still show the composure, to still try not to do too much and go beyond yourself in acts of desperation that we saw other quarterbacks do. Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert. And I'm not even going to say that those are necessarily like flaws, because it's kind of just like, what are you going to do? When Jaden Daniels threw the interception at the end of, near the end of the game or whatever, it was like, he's got to try something. But like even Bo Nix, though, there was still such a composure and even like an acceptance of the situation, which is something that I can actually really, really appreciate, because it's understanding the reality of the situation. And again, not trying to go beyond that. Sometimes you want to play beyond yourself, and sometimes you need to understand like this is what it is. I think both views are important. It depends on the situation. So I just think that Bo Nix will continue to grow, continue to evolve, and I'm wildly excited, because it's obvious that Sean Payton has not been able to really do what he wants to do offensively just yet. And obviously getting the quarterback was the big massive check one. And now some of these other things that he wants to do when he actually has the pieces to not only make Bo Nix better, but then just the offense as a whole, right? Like you need to have this offense also to be able to thrive and be high functioning even without necessarily great special play from Bo Nix. Like that's really the name of the game. You want to be able to build a team and an offense that can win with like your backup quarterback. Obviously not as much as your starter, but like that can still, maintain this. And the truth is the Broncos weren't necessarily in that situation. They're building their foundation now, rather than making Bo Nix the foundation. You don't want your quarterback to necessarily be the foundation. You want your offense as a whole to be the foundation. They want that to be the boat that the quarterback then, kind of steers. That's the way. If your quarterback is the foundation, you can have some exciting moments, some fun plays. You get to praise your quarterback to be like, look what he can do. You're not winning rings. So I'm excited. I continue to be excited. And I just think, Bo Nix is one of those top quarterbacks that I cannot wait to see what they do this coming season. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, honestly, all the rookies honestly, it's all the same. It's JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb. Like, I'm really excited to see, I think Caleb will look a lot more competent. I'm so fascinated to see what Jaden does, if he can kind of continue that momentum. And I'm really excited to see how Bo Nix's game evolves. Like, that's the one thing that I'm excited to see, like how his game evolves. And when games are easy for him, because not a lot of games this last season were actually easy for him, just because of just because of the team that the Broncos were. When games get to be easy for him, like, I'm so excited to see how he runs that offense. How does he manage a game, right? How does he run an offense when things are just a little bit more settled? Last season for the Broncos, a lot of the games felt like the fire alarm was going off and they were quickly putting on their pants and putting on their suspenders, whatever, and getting their helmet, and they had to like get on the fire truck and go. Like, that's what a lot of these games felt like. I want to see the games when things are a little bit smoother, and I'm excited to see what can he do. Can he start to just pick apart and carve up defenses when everything's favored against him, which we saw him do against the Chiefs in the final game of the season, but that was obviously, a very specific situation. But I'm excited to see if you can see more of those games, more of those moments throughout the regular season, and not just against, bad teams or backups or whatever. Like, I'm excited to see some of those moments when you're just like, whoa, this is popping, man. Like, this is jumping off the screen. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos? What are your expectations for next season? And, where do you think his game will or can evolve? Like, what will be a big change from year 1 to year 2? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing, as it becomes an absolute storm, as I just mentioned, rain outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.